On this episode of the Infinite Loop Show, we talk about Apple.
Oh, really?
Yes. And we'll talk about apps.
You don't say.
I know. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So join us, won't you, for an all-new action-packed Infinite Loop Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Infinite Loop Show, episode number 46. I'm Michael Gaines.
And I'm Casey Cogley.
Hi, Casey. How are you?
I am good.
You're good?
Yeah.
How's your new year? 2013 treating you well?
It's treating me like any other year, I suppose.
I know. It's like it's a number.
It's not like everything just bam freaking changes, amazing things all at once on January 1st.
I know. It's like all the crap from 2012 just melts away.
I'm a changed woman, things. I've just got a salary raise. Everything's going better. It's amazing.
We still have to pay taxes on April 15th, so screw it.
Oh, shit.
I know, really, right?
This is just like 2012 all over again. What the hell?
All right, shall we get to the news?
We shall.
Speaking of New Year's and anniversaries and such, iTunes turns 12.
I know, it's getting so big. And then Safari turned 10 on Monday, which seems weird because I could have sworn Safari was older than iTunes.
Safari, and also the announcement of the iPhone was on January also, 6 years.
Yeah. So many things.
I tell you. No, you blink and this stuff turns 12.
They
I
grow
couldn't
up so
find
fast,
it.
I know
and
then they'll be off to college soon and and moved out of the house, and then what are we going to do?
I was trying to find my original Sound Jam CD, which I know I have somewhere in the house, but I couldn't find it. But for people that don't know, iTunes was built off of an app called Sound Jam, which for its time was pretty good. It was,
and it came on a CD?
And it came on a CD. Yes, it did.
What is this CD you speak of?
I still have CDs around somewhere.
They're not attached to your belt with numerous belt clips?
Again with the belt clips? Yes, I just like whip out my Microsoft Office CD.
You just have the fat book of CDs off the side of your belt.
You probably imagine me with like a belt clip full of crap.
Just like Batman has nothing on your belt.
Look, let me tell you something. I have already relegated my phone to my front pocket, so I'm getting there.
Whoa, TMI, dude. I don't want to know what's in your front pocket, all right?
Casey seems to think that I'm an old man. With my old ways.
Hey, I'm getting off your lawn, okay? I'm getting off the lawn.
So yeah, iTunes is more or less become ubiquitous with digital music, and you can't. I mean, yeah, there's Google and Amazon and everything, but I tried them both. They're not very practical.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Google Play Store is really the only one that's going to kind of has a chance at being a real competitor. Amazon, I don't see. I mean, by rights, Amazon should, but I don't see it really doing the trick. I think Google Play is, in time, it'll get up there and probably be the one true competitor. But until then,
did you see the new thing that Amazon announced today, the auto rip?
Mm-mm.
So if you buy a CD now, or if you bought a CD between now and 1998, all the CDs that you've bought will automatically show up in your Amazon playlist.
What, like CDs that I bought on Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say, they don't know what I bought. Are they in my
No,
house?
on Amazon.
Like, how are they going to do this?
No, if you bought a CD from Amazon, or multiple CDs from Amazon since
In
1998.
98?
And if it's flagged as an auto rip CD, it'll show up automatically in your Amazon playlist.
Oh, that's awfully generous.
It's an interesting idea. I mean, they already have the digital files. Might as well just give them to you. I think it's a good idea.
Yes, true.
Because I'm still buying audio CDs. Go ahead, make fun of me. No?
I'm going to save that one for later.
Okay, good. No, I still buy CDs because for one thing, there are some CDs that I buy that are not available as digital downloads, but
that's the only reason I can think to buy a CD still, is if you cannot find it anywhere.
And there's still a quality thing that I'm a snob. I'm an audio snob.
5.1. Oh my god.
Anyway, so iTunes turning 12. Do you think that it's time for iTunes to reinvent itself, or do you think this thing will go on for
seems to be trying to. I think iTunes 11 was that attempt to reinvent itself, because iTunes 11 is really the biggest change and kind of facelift that it's seen in years.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that's a good thing, or they effectively made themselves hip again, we'll see.
I'm still using iTunes 10.
I know. I'm not okay. Moving on. I don't even want to.
We're not going to go there. But I'm just iTunes. I think the one thing that iTunes really needs to do is have an iTunes match for movies. So what I can do is I can pop in a DVD that I own, and it'll say, "Oh, you own this disc? Here's the digital version of it."
Yeah,
now,
they could do that.
Everyone and their mother knows how to rip a CD cleanly, but it's nice to have a legal way of doing it.
Yeah.
Because I've got a lot of DVDs, and it's getting to the point now where I can't bring myself to buy a digital movie yet. The only digital stuff that I buy is episodes of Doctor Who. That's it.
Just the other day, my husband and I were talking about, we have a bunch of stuff in storage, and we have probably like 3 or 4 huge boxes just of DVDs. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about cleaning out the storage unit and going through it, and he was saying, let's just throw those away. Just throw them all away. And I'm like, well, the boxes, okay, yeah, but don't you want to take the discs out? Maybe, I don't know, put them in like a condensed CD book, or something, and just save the media? He's like, no, screw it. We can get it again digitally, or if we haven't already, just screw it. Or Netflix, whatever. Just, I don't even want to deal with that whole headache. And I'm like, I'm right there with you, but I feel like, I don't know, like there's some kind of investment in that physical media. Like I need to save it because I paid like $5 for a movie at Blockbuster one time.
Here's the thing. I bought a lot of discs because there was a time when DVD Empire was around, and it was cheaper to buy a disc than it was to actually go to the movies. And I had my
no, totally. When Blockbuster was really doing crappily, in the last 3 years, and all their pre-watched movies, you'd go in there and there'd just be a table of stacks of, their old rental discs that they would sell for like 3 for $10. And we'd go in there and just walk out with a fat bag of DVDs. But then you got to store them somewhere. You only watch them once.
That's it. That's the problem. It's cheaper to buy them. By the way, those Blockbuster rental discs are evil because they're different than the retail discs. They have a bunch of forced menus that are not on the retail version.
Really? We never saw a menu when we watched them.
Maybe not all of them, but we've actually gotten some of them, and then we'll just sit down and watch, and it's commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial. And I go online, and people have said that the rental versions are different, and sometimes it'll even say on the disc, like not like a piece of tape or something, but it'll say printed on the disc rental copy. Right, yeah.
That's what, I mean, because they were the cheap ones. That's what we would just buy and watch once. Maybe they did have that, and I just wrote it off as whatever.
I don't know.
Oh, well.
But the digital revolution is here. It's just not completely here yet. And I don't know what to do with it.
It's not at your house yet. It's still coming down the street. It's at your neighbor's house.
It's at the neighbor's house. It's not here yet. What's with this Apple Do Not Disturb bug?
So, if you haven't heard already, there's been kind of a little bit of a controversy with this Do Not Disturb bug that hit iOS on January 1st and then was supposed to automatically fix itself on January 8th. What it did was it turned on the Do Not Disturb like full time. So you can schedule it to do it just, within a certain period of time, or you can just flip the switch in settings and it'll just be on all the time. Okay. So from January 1st, everybody's switch was flipped open, and if you didn't notice, you were not getting notifications or updates or anything January 1st or anything like that, and we're able to sleep in. Oh no. But people, I think, are making a bigger deal about it because Apple's solution was, hey, you know what, just wait, it'll fix itself on January 8th. We're not going to send down an update. And B, it was caused by a relatively well-known programming error with the date tag pertaining to the number of weeks in a year that Apple programmers didn't program around. Like, I guess most programmers will just do an if-or, if-else clause around it and just kind of work around it. But Apple programmers didn't know about this, and I kind of feel like they should be like the cream of the crop as far as developers go. Why didn't they know about this, and why didn't they just build in a workaround?
I don't know. Well, here's the thing about the workaround is that you know that the way that Apple does it is that they have to take a couple days to test it. By the time they tested it and got it out, the bug would be gone because it would have worked itself out. So that's probably why they didn't do that. I can see that because it would take more than a week to probably test it. Make sure that it's all correct and then push it out to a whole bunch of people, and it's probably more trouble than it's worth. I use Do Not Disturb every day. I turn it on when I go to sleep, and so that's why it didn't affect me. I don't auto turn it on. I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have? Yeah. I don't know if it's been working since the 8th, because now it's the 10th. But in case you didn't know.
I didn't have any problems. It's been working great.
I assume it's been working. I don't know.
I didn't miss any notifications at all the last week. So
yeah, no. Well, the Do Not Disturb. It's not like they don't show up. If you wake up your phone, they're still there. It's just it doesn't buzz and light up. Within those hours.
No, mine buzzes and lights up fine all the time.
I don't remember the last couple of nights after midnight if it did that or not. Yeah. So I think I wasn't probably paying attention.
If you go to St. Petersburg, there's a big giant iPhone Steve Jobs shrine. And Casey
now
wants
I have to go to Russia.
Now, did you book your flight yet?
No. Why is this in Russia? Why are the Russian... Damn it, the Cold War is back on for the Steve Jobs Memorial. This should be in Cupertino or San Jose. Why is it in St. Petersburg?
I don't know. No, it's a very nice. It's a giant iPhone. It's about 5 feet. I've seen pictures of it. It's about 5 feet tall, and it plays like a slideshow and stuff from Steve Jobs. Interesting, but yeah, there should be one here.
Yeah, I was thinking about this today because I posted it to Twitter earlier today. And that was my first thought. Like, why is this not here? Why do we not have a thing like that in Silicon Valley where it should be? But then I'm thinking, like, the family probably feels like Steve wouldn't have wanted that.
Oh,
like,
maybe.
I don't think Steve would erect a huge memorial to himself. And if he did, wouldn't he just consider one infinite loop the memorial to himself? Like, isn't Apple in itself a Steve Jobs memorial?
True.
And especially that spaceship. If they build that will be a damn good memorial of Steve Jobs.
When that gets finished, are you going to go visit? Make a little pilgrimage?
I'm planning to work there.
Oh, okay. I hope you do.
I did.
Well, no, I don't, because then you can't do the show anymore. Oh, we'll think of something else. I know. You're thinking, oh, screw the show. I'm working at Apple.
Right. Let me weigh those pros and cons really quick.
No, a little bit. The $150 Pebble smartwatch was shown at CES. Did you see this thing?
I saw it when it was a Kickstarter. I haven't seen the newer implementations or the ones at CES. I have a friend at work who ordered one through Kickstarter, and he announced yesterday at work that it was coming in the next couple of weeks.
It's interesting, except for $150, I'm not really sure I would want one, because really all you're getting is a watch that communicates over Bluetooth with your iPhone, and it does a lot of things that your iPhone already does.
So you don't have to take your iPhone out of your pocket or off your belt.
Or off your belt. Were you waiting for that one? So I saw on Engadget, they had a video of a production one. And so if you wanted to, let's say, do music, you have to push these buttons to go up and down. And I'm thinking, well, in the time that it takes you to hit these buttons and everything, you just whip out your phone.
God damn it.
I
Nobody
know.
wants analog buttons.
You could whip out your phone and just do it that way. And that's why, to me, I'm not quite sure this thing is that interesting to me. Because
I feel like this whole genre of the smart watch is interesting. And this is probably just, well, it is one of the very first implementations of this kind of, if it does turn out to be like a new genre, well, I guess you could just say it's within that whole wearable tech sphere. And there's a lot of rumors that Apple might be doing it. So maybe this one isn't the best example or implementation, but that's not to say that smart watches won't be awesome in a year or two.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What do you think about wearable tech? You don't wear anything tech, do you?
No, I keep thinking that I should get like a Fitbit or the Nike one or something like that. But it's like, they're like $100 for a little bracelet, and you have to charge them at night. And it's not like they're just an easy dock to set them in by your bedstand. There's some big kludgy wire and adapter and crap. And I don't know. Maybe I'm too lazy to be an early adopter on that.
See, for me, I would, excuse me, I would go to the gym, and I don't really need the Fitbit because I've got a machine telling me exactly how many miles I walked or ran or something like that. So,
well, like, okay, so for running, I usually use an app on my phone. So a lot of these things can be, they're awesome, but they can also be rolled into an app in your phone. And when do you not have your phone on you?
Always.
So you have so you have your phone and then this other thing.
Yeah. I agree. So I'm not so sure about this $150 Pebble. I know some people love it. Some people were really impressed with it. But I was looking at the specs, I'm looking at the video, and I'm going, I stopped wearing a watch years ago. And I don't really want to start wearing one again. I wear
one, but it's purely like an accessory. I almost never look at it for the time or anything.
You don't have to. Now it's like, what time is it? You just look in the upper right-hand corner of your computer, or you hit a button on your phone or something like that.
I wake up my phone or something. Yeah.
CEO of Apple, Mr. Tim Cook, visits China.
Again. He loves it over there. He just can't get enough of China.
And nobody knows why.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that China is a huge emerging market.
Oh, yeah.
They want to really cater to that market because it's gigantic. And yeah, they're going to do, and probably Foxconn, if he can look like he's trying to get a handle on that whole situation and then also cater to, because they have far more and weirder restrictions than we do in the US or anywhere else, really. So
we'll see what happens with that in the future. And I did a lot of research on this one article, and nobody could say exactly why he went there. It's just all
I just assumed it was to, I don't know, talk more about getting in there.
Oh, sure. Sure. More counterfeit Apple products were seized. I didn't know this happened the first time. There
Yeah,
are a
me
bunch
neither.
of fake lightning cables in Alaska.
Well, I knew there were fake lightning cables, but apparently, yeah, Alaska's a big hub of this.
I didn't. I thought it was just moose. I watch way
No,
too much Northern
yeah.
Exposure. So, $635,000 worth of fake lightning cables, according to 95 Mac. This is unbelievable. I did not know about these. I mean, I knew the fake cables existed. I just didn't know there were
Right.
so many of them.
They're all
this.
coming from Alaska, apparently.
Is that what they do in Alaska?
They shoot moose and also make fake lightning cables. That's what they do all day long.
Here's the funny part. The guy that they arrested was here in Jersey. New Jersey State Police arrested a Roselle Park man in November and charged him with possession of $684,000 worth of counterfeit products that falsely boasted trademarks by Apple, Dell, Microsoft, etc. Wow.
I'm not surprised by that in the least.
And yeah, didn't realize that. It's like in New Jersey. You know?
Yeah, so good job.
It's a Tony Soprano now running lightning cables, right?
Yeah, exactly. He knows where the money's at. Fake lightning cables.
What's with the Jobs movie? When's that coming out?
So apparently this new Ashton Kutcher Jobs movie, the lowercase j, uppercase OBS movie, is making Mike sneeze.
Sorry.
Slated for April 2013 of this year. And there you go.
Well, it's coming out in the theaters. Well, limited release in theaters in April. So I don't think it'll be on home video until maybe June-ish or something like that.
Yeah.
Would you go see it?
Yes.
Immediately.
I think it'll be super interesting. And honestly, it could be a mediocre movie, and I think I would still like it.
I don't think Kutcher would attach himself to something mediocre, though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I really, really enjoy Pirates of Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
If it's anywhere near that, then I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah. I haven't watched that movie in a long time, though. I really need to watch that again.
Yeah. Last time I watched it was when Steve died.
I think the reason... Excuse me.
Just get all choked up just thinking about it.
I still got this little cough right here. It will not go away. The last time I watched it, I think it wasn't even on DVD yet. I think it was still on like VHS.
Oh man,
or something like
it's
that.
on Netflix.
Oh, is it? Oh, great! I'm gonna have to
That's
watch it.
where I watched it last time.
There were rumors going around about Apple making a cheap iPhone with cheap parts, and Phil Schiller said, "Nope, not happening." Which is what I said. I think it might have been on Robin Underpants. I said that Apple wouldn't cheapen themselves just to get into a market. It didn't seem very Apple-like to do that.
Well, plus, you can already get a cheap iPhone. You can get a free iPhone.
Right.
You just have to pay for a 2-year subscription.
Well, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, you can get, I mean, at least in this country, you can get an iPhone 4 for free with a 2-year subscription. In other countries, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head about how much you would have to pay for one. But I just couldn't see Apple going into like a cheap plastic and cheap part market.
Yeah, and I even saw a rumor that this cheap there was one rumor that it would be an iPhone mini, and then there was another rumor that it would actually be bigger than the 5, which made no sense if it's cheaper and also bigger. Whatever. Let's just say anything now, apparently.
I saw a bunch of stuff at CES. Like bigger phones and smaller tablets. It's like the identity that like sort of 6-inch to 8-ish, 9-ish inch area. People don't know what to call it, and they're using this horrible word called phablets. Oh God, I want that to die.
I do too.
Please
I hate that word.
Stop using that
word.
It's
so. Ugh.
iPhone 5 coming to Walmart. What's this?
So Walmart, which I didn't know, they have their own prepaid wireless service called Smart Talk, and apparently the iPhone 5 is coming to Smart Talk service January 11th, tomorrow.
Cool.
Which is crazy. So it's a prepaid plan, so you have to buy the phone outright for $650 or whatever it is. And then on top of that, T-Mobile is claiming that they're going to get the iPhone in about 3 months from now.
Oh, good. Okay. I don't know about, well, you don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I have seen the Walmart Smart Talk commercials here. But they didn't mention specific phones. So I knew it existed. I didn't know much about it except like some goofy monthly fee, which wasn't that great in my opinion. So that's, I guess it's good that the iPhone 5 is coming to that service.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I feel like it kind of cheapens the iPhone, but then on the other, it's like, hey, the more, the more they can permeate more services, the better, I guess, the more market share they can grab.
And yeah, very good to see that T-Mobile is finally getting the iPhone. We knew that was coming.
Eventually, yeah, I eventually would go over there. And a lot of people who carrier break their phones are already, I know a few people with older 3G iPhones that are on T-Mobile already and have been for a long time. You just have to break it. But then now you can get the latest iPhone and still be on T-Mobile.
All right, let's move on to rapid fire. Apple releases a new MacBook Air EFI update. Okay.
Yay!
I still haven't installed the EFI update on my iMac. It still locks up like once a month or once every 3 weeks.
The sleep deal, or
it's
just normally?
It doesn't go to sleep. I don't know if it's happening during sleep. It's hard to tell because the hard drive is so quiet. But when it wakes up from the screensaver, the monitor comes up and you see the screensaver, but the little dialog box that asks you for your password, that just never comes up.
I get that sometimes on my MacBook Pro, but it's just a matter of like 30 seconds it comes up. And that's only sometimes.
Okay, I'll have to check it. Maybe next time it happens, I'll maybe leave it on for like 2 minutes or something like that and see what happens. But the EFI update for the this is for the mid-2012 MacBook Air, fixes an issue with colors on external HDMI displays. A problem with Windows that can stop the computer from booting properly, and a Thunderbolt issue, which is my iMac has a Thunderbolt issue with the EFI also. So maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know, because I've got a Thunderbolt device and a Thunderbolt monitor, a Thunderbolt adapter for my monitor.
I know what you meant.
Yeah. And speaking of Thunderbolt cables, Apple finally slashed the price on them and is offering smaller lengths. Now, the ones that I've got down here for this RAID drive that I've got, it's like 6 feet long, and it doesn't need to be. I only needed like a 4-foot cable.
Yeah, because the official Apple cable, there's only one. So that's good.
All right, now this is yours. Talk about these App Store numbers. These are pretty impressive.
Yeah, this was on TUAW today. Simco, who I don't know who that is, broke down the App Store numbers and found that the iTunes, if it was a business, an economy all to its own, it would be a $12 billion annual business. Wow. From the last 5 years alone, content makers putting stuff up on iTunes for sale received $24 billion. We knew that. Apple only spent $10 billion to create those sales. So like in marketing and whatnot. iTunes costs about $3.5 billion a year to operate. Okay, that's not a bad ratio for them. Non-app media. So everything else on iTunes that's not in the App Store makes up about 2/3 of the iTunes in terms of sales and value. But their growth now is only 28% versus 50% growth right now for apps on the iTunes Store.
Unbelievable.
So apps in, probably a year or even less could make more than everything else on iTunes combined, which is surprising and not surprising, I think, at the same time.
It's funny to look at some of the older articles from years ago when the App Store first came up and people said, no, this will never make money. iTunes will never make money. Apple will never make money on music. And look at it now.
Well, that's like all the people who said the Apple Store would be a horrible idea and it's going to just tank Apple, and why the hell would you want your own retail space? And look at what a good idea that was.
Yeah.
They're revolutionizing retail stores to the point where other retail stores are now copying them.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, my sister, who she's brilliant, but she doesn't know much about like tech and such. She even mentioned when I talked to her recently about how the Microsoft Store looks just like an Apple Store, and and it's just pretty obvious that they're copying them. I mean, I don't know why
that is clearly on purpose.
Yeah.
And putting their store literally like right across from an Apple Store in every mall that they're in. That's weird.
Gee
That's
whiz.
odd that they would do that.
Typical Microsoft.
Yeah.
And last on our rapid fire, all right, you added this. This was all over the news today about CEO Mark Hurd from HP. What happened here with Steve Jobs?
So if you remember back in 2010 when Mark Hurd, the previous CEO of HP, stepped down, it was because of a sexual harassment scandal. When this was going on, Steve Jobs actually called him and tried to convince him not to step down and kind of save him or save HP in the process. If you've ever read, any biographies or know about Steve's past, I think Steve, his whole life has always had kind of a soft spot for HP.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And felt that they're a huge player and vital to Silicon Valley as a whole. Was really tried to save them and felt like Mark Hurd's leaving would really send HP into a downward spiral, which, whoa, that's weird, it did. In any case, Steve Jobs personally called Mark and tried to convince him to stay and was willing to call each board member individually and convince them to let Mark stay.
Yep. And now HP, well, I mean, it's not the powerhouse I think it used to be.
I wouldn't even call it a powerhouse of any kind.
No.
All of their ideas in the last couple of years have been silly and stink of desperation, I think.
There was one technology, I think it was from HP, where it was like you can print a web page, and I was actually working on that technology like 12 years ago.
Oh my God, I can't even tell you how many people I work with do that.
Yeah.
Since we launched on Monday, I get printed out versions of the web page with edits scrolled on them and handed to me.
Your web page looks really awesome, by the way, I must say. You did a kick-ass job. Did you write this CMS yourself?
Everything.
You wrote everything. Wow. I'm damn impressed, I must say. All right, let's go to apps. Our apps for the week. Mine. I got an entire table full of people watching football the other day addicted to this. It's called Letterpress.
Good job.
I showed one person. I said, "Have you seen this game?" And Lindy, my co-host on Warcast, was actually one of them also. And it just spread. 6 people are all playing Letterpress within 10 minutes. It's a game. What?
Oh no! Go ahead.
No, it's similar to Scrabble, in a sense, or Boggle in a way. But the letters don't have to be connected in any way. So there's I think it's a 7x7 or 8x8 grid with a bunch of letters, and you have to create words. But there are some rules like surrounding letters gives you the advantage. Using a letter that your opponent did gives you a point, and it's a lot of fun. I love it.
Well, more importantly, it not only gives you a point, it takes a point away from them.
Oh, yes,
so
that's right.
you can, so if somebody is ahead of you in score, you don't have to make up this killer like 12-point word. You just need to make like a 6-point word and use a bunch of their blocks and whittle their score down. So I think that's really kind of the key. But other than that, other than it being an addicting game, it's just a beautifully designed app.
It is. And it was also Max how do I say your name in the chat room? Max RCS. Max RCS, I'll just say that.
Yes.
Yes. He says the maker of Tweety made Letterpress. Lauren Petrich. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
I forget his name entirely.
Yeah. So he made this game, and it's amazing. So, all right, what's yours?
So my app is something that I actually learned from listening to The Instance over on the Frog Pants Network. Willie Dills on Twitter suggested this app, and now I'm totally addicted to it. It's called Book of Heroes. Mm-hmm. It's on iOS. It's both for iPhone and iPad, and it's a little like MMO for iOS, but it's perfect on iOS. The way that they don't try to be a fully fledged MMO kind of. Remember the game? Well, it's still out there, but Order and Chaos.
Sure.
Tries to be like a full blown WoW for iOS, which is hard to do, and it feels small, and it's just difficult to do on that kind of platform. Where Book of Heroes really uses the platform to its advantage. It doesn't have full blown animation. It doesn't have you don't see your character walking around. You have a map, and the enemies that you face are just kind of cards, but it's not a card game. It's just a well done app, and it makes me kind of want to make an app like that. But there's actually guilds in this, and there's rating, which is not at all what you would think rating would be. It's totally different than WoW or any other type of rating, but it's awesome, and it's fun, and it's free. It's one of those freemium type apps, but you can totally get away with not buying anything. It's great. It's called Book of Heroes. I'm on it, and I'm in one of the guilds made by the Frog Pants dudes.
Nice. I messed up Lauren's name. It's Britcher. Sorry. I got two different people confused, so I was wrong about that. All right. Are we done?
Yes. We have reached the end of our doc.
We have reached the end of our doc, haven't we? All right, if you want to contact us, once I get rid of this cough.
You are dying.
Hell, no, today is the first day that I didn't take medication.
Well,
it's starting to go away. Except the cough drop. And that doesn't really count. If you want to contact us, I am at StarMike on Twitter. Casey is Casey Queso, Kaceyi Kaso, the Casey, not the cheese. Do you want to pimp your site? The one that you brag about.
For work. So the site for work is psemi.com, psemi.com. And that's just where I work in the work site. But it's nice. And if you find bugs, please contact me on Twitter, and I will fix them.
All right. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Oh, we have a big 1 year thing coming. Bye.
I like how you just squeeze that. Okay, bye. I'll do it, in a couple weeks for our anniversary. Okay, bye.
Bye.